guys
Do
going?
I sound manlier?
Sounds so manly.
Sick.
Just so. Yeah, it's such deep, gravelly, sexy voice. I'm very distracted by it right now.
Oh, good. This is my Batman voice. Hi, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Welcome to episode 39 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And
wow, that was... Oh, I'm sick. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try to keep this energy up.
Embrace the graveliness of it.
I feel bad because you've been sick a few times on the podcast.
I might still be sick, actually.
And now it's finally caught up to me.
Yeah, I hope you don't have bronchitis.
I don't think so.
Okay,
no.
that's what I've had for about 2 weeks now.
No, I'll be fine.
It just persists. It's a real bitch because once you have it, you just get it again really easily.
Oh, no.
And it lingers.
We'll be fine. We're going to push through. We're going to power through. It's going to be good.
No, it's fine. You're a little sick. I'm a little drunk. We're just going to go.
It's the best combo for a podcast, guys.
Oh, it's going to be great. What are we talking about this week? Oh, we get some Harley.
Yeah,
and some
great
Clock
Harley episode.
Right?
And, oh, my God.
Okay, we watched the same episodes, right?
Yes.
Okay,
because
because
such a soft spot for, like, time-themed episodes. I loved it.
I mean, this one just slapped you in the face with time.
It.
Yeah.
They actually, it took me a while to remember this. They made this almost exact same plot in a Static Shock episode.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, here, I was thinking it reminded me of the movie Clockstoppers.
I'm so glad you brought it up and I didn't have to bring it up because I was like 3 sentences away from it.
I think I feel like I've seen that movie once.
Clockstoppers?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
What's the main guy in that? What's his name?
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in years.
I'm going to have to look it up as we're talking here. But yeah, we have those two. So we actually reached a weird point because according to Wikipedia, the Amazon list, which is what we've been kind of running off of, is different than the quote-unquote official production list on Wikipedia. And me being me, I did a ton of research trying to figure out what was the right order, and ultimately I decided it was too much effort to try and figure it out. So
there
we're
we
just
go.
for anyone who's
we
actually
try and quit. That's the motto of this podcast. You try and then you quit.
I mean, that's just my life in general.
Yeah.
So if you're watching along with us, which I think maybe some people are, if you're not, really watch the episodes because it's way better than listening to us. Yeah, we're sticking to the Amazon list or the DVD box set list, which is the same. So this week it's Harlequinade and A Time Out of Joint.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, using my usual segue, do we have a lot of comic book movie related news? I don't have anything DC related, really. Do you have anything?
I mean, Wonder Woman came out.
Wonder Woman came out,
murdering us because we're recording this on Sunday. The podcast comes out in 2 days, and this is the first time in years I haven't seen a superhero opening like that Thursday night.
Yeah, because you and I, we've seen Batman and Superman together. We saw Suicide Squad together. I think on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Pretty much every Marvel movie we've gone and seen on the Thursday, and yeah, we've had to wait 3 days, and this is the first time it's been good.
Yeah,
and supposedly we haven't seen it yet. We're literally going right after this.
Yeah,
to go see it because then we're doing our crossover podcast tomorrow, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's the big news is that apparently it's out, it's good. We'll either confirm or deny that once ever the crossover comes out. In terms of other news, I don't have much. I saw that there's a Sin City TV show in development.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, which
I'm curious how that'll adapt to television.
I can see it working for television. So the only thing we know so far is that Glenn Mazzara, who I think was a showrunner on The Walking Dead at one point, I'm not sure if he still is. He's a writer, and then Len Wiseman, who did the Underworld movies,
right,
and who worked on Lucifer, is directing. Both talented guys. Good stuff. What's unclear is in the same press release, they said that they're going to stick really close to the comics, but they're also going to deviate from the movies, which
doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense because those are I think the
frame by frame, perfect.
I mean, they are the most faithful comic movie adaptation I'd say is out there. I haven't seen the second movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, but the first one, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. Yeah,
so cool.
So I mean, I think it's a world that's ripe for television. We're getting great television shows out now. These like limited series sort of things. What network is going to be on actually?
I would guess like a TNT or a.
Oh, we don't know yet. There's
okay.
not a network yet. So we'll see on that. But could be good.
Yeah, probably an AMC.
Yeah, might be interesting.
Fit well there.
Yeah. The only other thing I have is that we've talked a little bit X-Men here and there. The New Mutants movie.
Oh,
they've been actually filling out the cast a little bit.
Oh boy.
So far, like pretty good. The rumored people are always Maisie Williams for Wolfsbane and Anya Taylor-Joy for Magic.
Okay.
I know Maisie Williams. I don't know Anya Taylor-Joy.
Nope. I know Magic.
Yeah. Both seem good. We're getting a few other people on here. But the one thing that came out that I thought was interesting was that apparently, like every other X-Men movie, it's going to be no costumes. So
just give us the bright colors.
God, I know. So
you made a movie in the 80s and you gave one person a mohawk. That's not 80s enough.
I know. So the impression I get is that this is supposed to be... it sounds a little Stranger Things-esque, like some organization kidnaps a whole bunch of children with mutant powers and locks them up in a hospital and they're trying to break out.
Okay.
And there's like a horror element. So, I mean, to be fair, the superhero genre is so stuffed right now, it makes sense to try and differentiate your movies and pick something specific. So the idea of having a horror comic movie is interesting. But for me, I'm just like, give them fucking costumes, make them superheroes. The X-Men are superheroes, and we've had almost 20 years now of them not giving us superhero movies.
Right.
20 years? Yeah. Close, right? 99? No,
99 was it was 2000. Yeah, 2000 was the first X-Men movie.
Nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
And I would argue that maybe First Class is the closest we've gotten to like actual them being superheroes. Like
right. They had the color scheme.
They had the color scheme. It's them going up against more or less a brotherhood of mutants sort of thing. It kind of works in the final battle there. But this is my biggest problem with Logan too. It's like, it's a great movie, but you still haven't given us the X-Men movie that I want to see.
Oh, I have no qualms with Logan. It's not a superhero movie for me. It's
and I get that, and I appreciate it for that. But I just give me the fucking X-Men movie where they're superheroes, and they, even with Apocalypse, the bigger offender here, they still refuse to do that. Oh, we'll give them costumes in the last 5 minutes. Bring that in somewhere else,
right?
I'm hoping it's good. I always hope these movies are good, but I just want a fucking superhero movie.
Every movie needs that first Spider-Man costume building scene.
Yeah. And we've reached a point now where, with Marvel especially, and I mean, even Deadpool, Fox itself has put out a movie where the hero is in the costume we know, a modernized version of it nonetheless, a more realistic version, but they're in the suit.
Yeah.
Just do it. Stop holding back.
Do you think it's... for Deadpool, it's a little different because he was mainly CGI.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if that's like a... kind of jumping off of that point because, my brain isn't making connections right now.
Yeah.
Do you think the Green Lantern movie plays a small part in them not doing costumes?
That's a good question. I don't know. I actually haven't watched Green Lantern.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna.
That's impressive.
I'm gonna say no. Or if it is a factor, I think it is a tangent off of, frankly, Bryan Singer and Chris Nolan, right?
oh yeah, that's true.
They launched franchises off of like grounded, realistic versions, and those have worked. But the counterpoint to that now is Marvel, right?
It's going a little crazier and crazier.
Yeah. So again, hope it's good. We'll see. At least we know that we get to go watch Wonder Woman, and she's in her proper Wonder Woman costume.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be good. Quite excited about it. But when we do want costumes, and the nice thing is we get a nice Harlequin episode here where she's in her full costume. I'm really stretching these segues, but
no, it's working.
I'm going to work on them. I'm going to force them. I'm going to make them work. I loved this episode.
It was great.
As I'm watching it, I was two things struck my mind. One, I was annoyed that I had to stop and pause it along the way to take notes because I just wanted to watch it and enjoy it. And two, I was like, this would immediately go on my list of episodes you have to watch.
Oh yeah, it was. It was our first solo Harley Quinn episode.
Yeah,
where she wasn't kind of trying to fight with Joker or Poison Ivy. We got a little bit more of her backstory.
We did, yeah.
It's the first time they say her real name.
They don't.
They say Harleen.
I don't think they do because I don't know. I made a note about when Batman goes to talk to her, he calls her Miss Quinn.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
and I was like, well, that's interesting. Like, are they not calling her Miss Quinzel? And I even looked up to see. And this episode came out in May of 1994, and Mad Love, which that's at least the definitive point where we knew that they had figured out her entire backstory and published it, was in February of 94.
Okay.
So, but as the episode progresses, we see that they bring in the elements of her being a psychiatrist and stuff. So they knew her origin at the time of making this episode, clearly. But as far as I can tell, as far as I remember, they don't actually ever call her Harleen or Quinzel. They still refer to her as Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Which is kind of... Excuse me, folks. I'm still dying.
That's fine. That's staying in the cut.
Fuck.
So we... we open this episode.
Take it off.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I'm good.
We open this episode in a very similar. It's like an auction for an atomic bomb.
Yeah,
Gotham has that.
Why? I mean, okay. Why would you auction off an atomic bomb to a bunch of gangsters? What are they going to do with it?
Hold the city at ransom.
But does that make sense for gangsters? I mean, the whole point of gangsters is they have like existing organized crime. They found a way to make money off of a functioning city as it is. Like, blowing up the city, wouldn't that just kill their entire client base or even hold the city ransom? Like, would that give them more exposure than they want? Because the whole point is they operate at an underground level.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't, though, does it?
But I compared this a lot to Joker's intro to The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. It's very like there's no awesome pencil scene.
No.
But it's the same. Joker kind of rushes into this gangster meeting. It's like, oh, I want to be a part of this. This looks like fun. And then they're like, what are you doing here, Joker? He pulls a bomb out. Very in style with the Dark Knight intro.
Well, I love it too because everyone's bidding like $5 million and that sort of thing. The auctioneer is like, oh, come on, like. Someone actually bid like a worthy amount. And he just chimes in like, "I'll give you nothing."
Yeah,
nada, zip, zilch. Like, because that's him. He can just walk into this place. Mm-hmm. Guys, filled.
You see how much power and terror Joker has.
Yeah,
like even the best gangsters in Gotham still fear him.
We can presume that these have got to be some of the top gangsters in the whole city. These guys are armed to the teeth with guns, and they're fucking scared of this guy.
Yeah. I mean, I would be too if he walks in with a bomb under his hat.
Well, and I love it too because even the way he does the bomb thing, like everyone basically evacuates except for I think the auctioneer,
right?
Who's like kind of running the whole show. And he throws it to him, and the bomb detonates, and of course it's a dud, and it's just a little like Jack in the Box pops out, and it's like.
But then there's a third layer because it spits out Joker gas,
which I thought was interesting.
Terrifying.
Well, yeah, because when it gets him, I feel like. This is the first time we've seen someone get affected by the Joker gas and have that horrific
smile. Yeah.
Since Phantasm. Like that happened in Phantasm. It happens here.
Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder if they're just a little bit bolder now after Phantasm. Like they saw the positive reaction to him being so menacing and scary that they're like, okay, let's go ahead and push this element here. And again, credit to Paul Dini, who at this point is pretty much if Joker or Harley, or usually it's both, is in the episode, he's writing it.
Yeah,
he's so goddamn good.
I mean, Harley's his baby. He created her. He knows her story.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a person out there who can write the Joker better than Paul Dini.
No.
I know, and this episode, it's so good.
Yeah. So we jump to Batman going to Harley for help.
Yeah, because
he needs someone who thinks like the Joker to find him,
help find the bomb. Yeah. And that's when he walks into her cell and he calls her Miss Quinn rather than Miss Quinzel.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
So they make a deal. If she helps him find the Joker, they'll let her out of Arkham, as long as she doesn't double cross. I mean, obviously she's going to double cross him.
Of course she is. Yeah.
And
we have them by surprise when it happens.
But, there's like a joke way she does it, and then there's a real way she does it later. So they're on the hunt. Of course, the first place they go is the abandoned amusement park. Or not, it looked like a circus.
It was, I don't know. It's just some old factory, some old fun house or something.
Yeah, fun house is probably the best term.
Yeah.
And we learn that Joker is actually kind of a mastermind. And like he pulls back these curtains, and there's TV cameras there's like security cameras set up at every kind of major area of Gotham.
It's like what, City Hall, the mayor's office, Gotham
police
PD.
headquarters. Yeah.
He actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And then we have a really interesting Batman asks Harley, why are you with this guy? And we get a nice kind of background on why she kind of turned. Her whole life she had to listen. She was a therapist, so her whole life she had to listen to other people's problems. Yeah. But she said Joker was the first one who listened to her. And it kind of like opened her mind, and he asks like, why, like, what do you, like, how do you cope with all of the people that he hurts? She's like, oh, it's just a joke. Yeah. Like none of this is real. And it really, that along with when she puts on her suit, because this whole time she's in like our Arkham. Yeah. Whatever. She's not in her Harley outfit. Yeah. She puts it on. She's like, oh, I feel like a human again. I think that tells a lot about the character.
It does. Yeah. I love that scene. Again, it's amazing. We're always talking about the efficiency of storytelling, but also the efficiency of character development. That look, in 2 lines of dialogue, they perfectly capture why Harley is the way she is. Mm-hmm. They get down to not necessarily just that it's the Joker, but why she wants to be with the Joker, what the appeal there is.
Right.
I mean, I'm always kicking the fucking DCE movies, but I think for the most part they did a pretty decent job with Harley and Suicide Squad for all of the movies of their faults. But again, it just goes to show you that really at the end of the day, if you know what you're doing, if you know your characters, if you're a good writer, you can get this stuff done instantly.
Yeah.
You don't have to drag it out.
Right. We don't need to know about who their mother is.
Yeah. Oh, God. Why'd you say that name? Sorry.
That's fine. Also, I love the. I mean,
you have a new phone.
I have a new phone.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
It's not broken anymore. I mean, this was one of those like, of course, this is a Joker hideout. He has pet hyenas.
Oh, I love the hyenas.
I love that.
And
I'm
like,
of course he has hyenas.
Mommy's back. And I'm like, wait, how long has hyenas been there? Because like, how long has she said this was the last hideout they used? So how long has she been away in Arkham and Joker's been whatever?
Yeah.
What have they been doing for whatever that period of time?
Eating all of the
Weeks,
kids
months?
that like try and break into the abandoned amusement park.
Yeah, I guess so. I love when Harley's around hyenas though, because they're her babies.
Yeah. So they go to how do they get to the next location?
They leave and Batman radios Robin. It's like, hey, meet us at this next spot. Harley said they've used it before.
Okay.
Maybe the Joker's hanging out there. And so as they're breaking in, Harley says like, oh, there's no one's been here for months. They open the door and it's an underground mobster speakeasy,
Which is awesome.
It really is awesome. And I assume that she didn't know they were there, right? That she went there with correct intent, and that it just happened to be there. But I think this is maybe the best scene of the whole episode. I love this sequence.
I think there's only one other scene. I mean, so they break in, or they get in. The mobsters go after Batman. Harley knocks him out, gives him to the mobsters. So it's like the first double cross. Mm-hmm. But she sees Robin in the window, so she distracts all the guys by singing. What's the song called?
I don't know what the song is.
It's Say That We're Sweethearts Again.
Okay, yeah. But I even love that she... I think this episode does a great job of proving she's actually very smart.
Yeah.
That she's not just a ditzy follower, that she's actually very clever. And so she even says out loud, it's like, oh my God, they would kill you. Like, she says to the mobster, you would kill both Batman and me if you thought we were working together, as a way to tell Batman, like, you have to trust me.
I'm not double crossing you.
Yeah. And like, that's genius. It's just so genius. Her approach, the way they handle the whole scene. Mm-hmm. That's so good.
And I don't remember the guy who wrote the song, but he wrote one other song in this universe.
Ooh, trivia!
Do you remember what the song is?
I did not know any of this, actually.
Oh, it's one of my favorite moments in the entire DC animated universe.
Oh, wait, hang on. I think I know. Let me guess. It's when Batman has to sing the song in the club in the JLU episode.
Why I'm Blue. Yep.
God.
I love that scene because Conroy has such a beautiful singing voice.
He does. I mean, that... Also, one of my favorite moments in the whole run of everything.
Yeah, because that's such a bizarre episode. Because that's the one where Wonder Woman is turned into a pig.
Becomes a pig, yeah, and Batman's trying to save her, and he's working with Cersei and Zatanna, I think, right?
Yeah, and Cersei, the only way will cure her is for if Batman sings.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we'll get to this eventually, but it makes sense in the context because it's a sacrifice, right? This is the man who is always so reserved and so stoic and everything so seriously.
He has to show emotion.
Yeah, I mean, he has to be vulnerable, and that's a very vulnerable thing to go up and sing. And I did not know that it's the same. These are existing songs, right? That they're just used in this. Are they written for the show, or
I think they were written for the show.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because this song, jumping back to current episodes,
what we're here
Harley's
to talk about,
song, right? Harley's song is very depressing because it's talking about all the abuse that she gets from the Joker.
Yeah.
But she keeps crawling back to him.
She's going back to him. Yeah. I didn't know if it was like a parody off an existing song or an original.
I think they were original songs.
Okay. It's a fun moment because again, it's her being smart. She's distracting them so that Robin can come in and help. Mm-hmm. But it also shows that she has a lot of self-awareness, more so than we think she does, given everything else she does all the time.
Right. We see her, over the past few episodes, we've seen her really step out of the role of sidekick into her own independent kind of character / villain.
Yeah. which is amazing if you consider the fact that she was created for this show and she's been in maybe a half dozen episodes, and that she's had this much development right up front. And you think about the fact that this was almost 20 years, well, more than 20 years ago now that this happened, and to think she has all that history since then. But like the work was done here first,
right? I would say 5 episodes she's been in so far.
If that. Good on you, Paul Dini.
Yep, you know how to write them.
Yeah, and I love it too. So in that speakeasy, the main guy there, Boxy Bennett. Did you recognize his voice by chance?
I did not.
So he's voiced by Dick Miller, the same voice as Chucky Saul from Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, right? Oh, Mask of the Phantasm. So good.
So they finish the song. Batman and Robin beat up all the villains.
As you do.
Harley comes in and helps. I loved the interaction right afterwards where Robin is trying to get used to Harley being there. Like, what did she do before this? Like, she was a therapist. Like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah. And then, so they find out that the Joker has kidnapped the mayor.
Yeah, because the mayor is refusing to evacuate the city, even though there's an atomic bomb on the loose. And then Harley realizes, like, oh, well, that's Mr. J. Like,
that's Joker's work.
Yeah, the best thing you can possibly do is to silence the mayor. And again, she gets it. Mm-hmm. What I love is that we see this storyline all the time where, like, oh, the villain teams up with the hero recruits the villain to help. Mm-hmm. She actually did save the day.
Oh, yeah.
Just from that moment.
100%.
Yeah, that moment alone, not to mention everything that happens after this, that if she weren't there, this wouldn't have happened. And it actually justifies the whole nature of the story. Mm. Yeah, because then they go out to Mayor Hamilton Hill's house.
Well, there was one line which I really loved because it also shows Harley's, like, how she's just as kind of twisted as Joker.
Yeah.
And like it's right after that she makes the connection that Joker has the mayor. She's like, I'm not your typical blonde bimbo. I'm not even joke's on you. I'm not even a real blonde.
I know. I wrote that down too. It's like, so good.
It's great.
Oh, she's so funny. Yeah. Because then, excuse me, still dying. They go out to Mayor Hill's house, and of course the Joker is there. He's got Hill tied up. The atomic bomb is sitting next to his pool.
Yeah.
And they go and so Batman leaves Harley locked up in the Batmobile. But I love this too, that she gets out because she had a fake hand. So Batman handcuffs her to the gear shift, and then she just pops the hand off and breaks out. So then, right as Batman and Robin are about to take down the Joker, she shows up and uses one of Batman's gadgets from the Batmobile to pin Batman to a tree and to lasso Robin, essentially. And she turns on him, and it almost works.
Yeah. Well, there was one little moment in there, which I really wish they would have made a joke about this. And it's when Batman and Joker start fighting. Joker pulls the lawn umbrella to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would have loved for him to mock the Penguin in that moment.
Oh,
that's all I wanted.
Yeah, they could have just a one throwaway line.
Yeah, him just make the some nose joke or some bird joke, but it's fine. It was a small missed opportunity, but the rest of the episode still makes up for it.
Yeah.
So Joker sets the bomb to go off in 10 minutes. They get into the plane that just landed, and Robin kind of screams out to Harley like, "Oh, it's a good thing we brought you here because Joker didn't have enough time to go and save you."
Nope.
And that's when Harley, the gears start to click of "Oh yeah, what were you going to do about me?" It's like, "Oh, of course I was going to save you." And then it's like, "Well, what about all our friends? What about Poison Ivy and Mad Hatter and everyone?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Yeah, I was going to save them too." He's like, "Oh, what about the hyenas?
Yeah, what about our babies?
What about our babies?" And he's like, "No, I don't care about them." He's like, "But our babies,
yeah, I love
babies."
His response is he's shoving the plane. I'll buy you a goldfish.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
because this ending had a real threat.
It did, yeah.
It wasn't a giant hole opening above New York City like we always get, but it was still a threat, which was awesome.
Yeah, they're able to defuse the bomb pretty easily once the Joker flies off in his plane.
Yeah.
But again, I love it because his ego comes back. Even before the Joker and his henchmen know that the bomb's been defused, the Joker's insisting they go back and they try and kill Batman and one presumes Harley.
Because he wanted to, which I think is kind of funny, he wanted to kill Batman before the bomb killed him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. His ego comes back and it keeps him from succeeding, which happens all the time. But it's great because Harley is pissed now.
Yeah. So Joker swings back around in the plane. He's shooting everyone, and Harley has a Harley themed grappling hook.
Yeah.
that she shoots at the Joker and it knocks him out, and he kind of shoots his own plane down. Doesn't blow up the bomb, luckily. And we get like a very intense, very similar to Joker's Favor. We had a very intense ending where she's holding a gun against the Joker. Like, you've hurt me for the last time. I can't handle this abuse anymore. And of course, it's a joke gun. And they're like,
which she didn't know.
Yeah, she didn't know, and she still pulls the trigger. But that's why they're so perfect for each other. They're so, insane that the fact that it's a fake gun shows like, oh, we were meant to be together.
Yeah. Well, you can almost see from the Joker's perspective of like, he tells her like, you don't have the guts to do it. And then she pulls the trigger. And even though it happens to be a fake gun, you can almost see him going like, oh, I respect you more now because you were willing to do that.
I think that's the final step from her being a sidekick.
Yeah.
Like, she's now completely independent.
Yeah. And he kind of respects her more for it.
Yeah.
In a weird fucked up way. And so of course they end up getting back together.
I like that, like, I mean, most of the episodes end with the villains being captured, but this one ends with the two of them hugging, and it like does a very like Looney Tunes zoom or like black.
Like what would you call that one? Like
vignette.
Yeah,
black
like,
vignette kind of coming into a heart around the two of them.
Yeah,
it was very. There were a lot of like you could see Paul Dini and Bruce Timm's Tiny Toon experience.
Oh yeah,
throughout this episode.
Yeah, it's so good.
It was a good episode.
It's amazing. Like, and so I looked at this was the one bit of trivia I found was that Harlequinade is apparently when a play where the Harlequin rather than the clown plays the principal role. So that's like where the name came from, which kind of makes sense.
That's interesting.
But I mean, it really is. I'd say maybe more than any other episode. It's absolutely Harley's episode. We get her backstory. 100%. We get her motivation for why she was the Joker. That she is this weird kind of middle ground, that she is aware enough to fight against the Joker when she realizes what's going on, but she's still in love with him, and she's incredibly complex, and I think this may be her best chance to show that sort of complexity.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Right up there with, of course, Harley and Ivy. Like, I think those two episodes, God, she's so good.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Dini, I mean, it's his baby. He knows how to create her.
Yeah.
And how to show her off.
I love it. Such a good episode.
Yeah.
Any other notes?
That's kind of all I had.
Okay.
It was fun.
Real quick, our sponsor this week is This American Lie.
Ooh, is that still Micah? Micah does that still?
Yeah. I know they haven't done a live show in a while. Maybe they have. I'm a little lost in that.
I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like This American Life, but it's all improvised. It's in the style of NPR. But good folks on that one. So here's the promo for it.
Have you ever been listening to NPR and thought to yourself, gosh, I love the human interest aspect, the dulcet voices of the hosts, the promise of totes, but I just hate how true it all is? That's where we come in. It's This American Lie, an hour of improvised NPR. We're a lot like that other show, but we make it all up in front of a live audience every second Saturday at the Nerdist School stage. Find show and ticket information at nerdistschool.com or catch the podcast on the Nerdist School Network. Search for us on iTunes.
Yeah. So go check that one out.
Quick kind of half-bat plug for Micah, because I've been seeing him pop up more on YouTube. If any listener is a fan of Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link, he's becoming more of a prominent figure. Him and Colin, if you remember Colin.
Yeah.
They have their own show on Good Mythical More.
What's that?
It gets mythical. Something with mythical.
Okay.
Where it's like a bunch of comedians have their own little shorts, and Micah and Collins is kind of cooking with power tools.
That sounds
which is
awesome.
So weird, and it's so funny. The last one they did was they built a smoker out of a drying machine.
Okay.
And it's hilarious. They're so great together.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
So yeah, people will go check that out.
All right,
because they do good stuff.
I'll include that in our plugs this week.
Yeah,
I'll have to go check this out as well. But yeah, so that takes us on to time out of joint.
Clock King.
Clock King.
Oh, I have such a soft spot for this episode. It's
I
such
do
a
too.
dumb plot.
It really is.
But I love it.
And this is one of the ones that I know I've seen before. Like I remember watching this as a kid, because specifically the sound, of whenever he's like jumping in and out of the time thing, which we'll get into, like has a very distinct sound. I remember that. But I like this episode a lot. I actually think I like this maybe more than the last Clock King episode.
I think I like the last Clock King better because it's a better telling of the character. This one is more fun.
It is more
fun,
but
it's not. It's not Clock King. Like any villain could have done this episode.
That's true, actually. Yeah, it just happens to fit the whole time motif.
Yeah, there's like 2 moments where they're like he gets away and they're like, oh, it's because he knew the schedule of this thing.
Yeah, and it's like, well, that's true. Yeah. So, like his skill set has always been like this over planning.
Like any villain could have done this.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, this plot is done again by another villain in Static Shock.
I don't remember the Static Shock episodes.
It's a weirder idea because he's not stealing anything. It's Virgil's kind of girlfriend friend Daisy has a stalker.
Okay,
and he can kind of. I'm just gonna call it the Speed Force because I don't have a better way to phrase like moving at a faster pace. He can kind of enter the Speed Force, and he's been stalking Daisy. It's kind of around the city, and so Static figures out that he can move at super speed. He has like a device similar to this episode, and he like zaps it, so they're both stuck in the Speed Force realm. It was. I was trying to remember because the character also the villain. His suit is very much just like a Flash knockoff suit.
Oh, okay.
It's like a white. It's like instead of being red, it's just like an orange red. There's a circle in the middle, and he doesn't have the lightning bolt ears, but it's still like this spandex.
It's basically the same thing.
And so I was trying to remember. I'm like, this is like a Justice League episode, right? Because the Flash is in it. I'm like, no, that's just the villain looks like Flash because they didn't really try.
Well, I mean, it's orange, so it's halfway between Flash and Reverse Flash.
Yeah,
so that's perfect.
Yeah, it works out great.
Oh man, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, everyone will forget that I've mentioned it at this point.
No,
when we get there,
I'm sure.
But this episode,
yeah.
First off, it's the new intro.
I made a note about that too. Yeah,
they actually planned this episode to be the first one that uses the new intro.
Oh, was it that way?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because WB was it WB? Whoever was sponsoring the show at this time.
Fox was airing it. Well, but was that still the case?
Whatever studio was airing it, they asked, which is very obvious in the past few episodes we've seen, they asked for Robin to be a more prominent figure in all of these episodes. And if you think about it, he's been in pretty much every episode this season.
Yeah, he has.
Which was half because the main reason was they saw that Robin was bringing in the younger audience. They had something to relate to better, especially since a lot of these plots are a little older.
Yeah.
But I think another reason was they were trying to hype up Batman and Robin coming out soon. Not Batman, Batman Forever coming out the next year.
That could be.
Because that was 95?
Yeah, I mean, this episode aired in October of 94. Excuse me. And yeah, Forever would have come out in summer of 95. So yeah, I guess that's probably the case. I didn't realize this was the first episode because I know that starting with basically after Phantasms, starting with Sideshow, like that was the beginning of the second season,
right?
And that's interesting. I thought from that point on it was considered the Adventures of Batman and Robin, and just the weird way that the DVDs and also Amazon has done, where they have like inconsistent intros. I didn't know that. That's cool. I like the new intro.
I mean, I don't think it's as powerful as the original.
No.
It's definitely a little more... It's not as dramatic. There's a lot more lighting and...
Yeah, they just...
It's still good. It's still fun.
They basically just took clips from Robin's Reckoning and
spliced it into the original
and then
intro.
The Ra's al Ghul episode.
Yeah.
The Demon's Quest. Yeah, spliced in there. But yeah, I was excited to see it nonetheless because I thought we weren't going to. But yeah, so it opens up with Bruce and Dick at a charity auction.
Bruce showing off how rich he is, as always.
Right, just being a total dick about it too. And what was like a Louis the 16th clock was going up for sale, and
super tacky, according to Robin.
I know, and so we see the Clock King, good old Temple Fugit, kind of walking towards it, and then all of a sudden he just like disappears, and he swipes the clock, and he goes outside, and he's like, "Oh, good, trial run accomplished, he just throws the clock away. Like he wasn't even there to actually steal something. So,
right. He just wanted to try. We don't know what he wanted to try out.
Yeah, but he's up to some sort of shenanigans. So
I did appreciate, because I forgot until this episode that we already had an Invisible Man episode,
and they mention it.
Yeah.
Batman mentions the coordinates, like, because they can see on the camera that an arm momentarily appears swiping the clocks. They know it's not just an invisible guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I like that they brought that up.
Yeah, it was a nice little callback to an episode that I very much forgot about,
because it's a terrible episode.
Yeah,
there's that. I also liked that they give the Clock King a slightly new look this time. Because he's got a nice,
he's got the
black suit. I think the cane is the same, though, isn't it?
I don't remember, but I love that cane.
I think, the cane, which is in the shape of a hand of a clock. Mm-hmm. I think the cane's the same, but last time he had a brown suit and bowler hat, and this time he's got a black suit, black tie, and bowler hat. And
because he's also kind of playing the role of a butler.
This is true,
and I think that's why he has the color
part
change.
Of it. But I mean, just in general, a black suit is better than a brown suit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. Brown suit.
So
Bruce.
So then we jump to this scientist's house,
Dr. Wakati.
Yes, who is they phrased it in such a weird way, and it was just like he is the professor of quantum temporal theory. Which
I wrote
is
that down
structure
as well.
of time.
The structure of time. Yeah, and he's doing some sort of weird experiments with time distortion. So they have these little devices, and it's kind of like an S sort of thing. It's like an asymmetrical, like weird S sort of shaped, kind of like a recorder. It almost looks like you could have a tape in it because it's all looped. Regardless. Doesn't matter what it looks like. But yes,
we got to sell the scene.
I know. Okay, yeah. So it's this little gray device.
Yeah.
And it's like a question mark kind of, but symmetrical, but not on a horizontal axis, like a diagonal axis.
Yeah. They get it.
Yeah. But so he has two experiments going on. One is he has trapped a falling ball in like a stasis field, so that it's been falling for a number of days.
A week.
A week, and it's like barely moved. So he's basically slowed down one object relative to natural time.
Yeah.
And another plant is going through like a rapid cycle. Started as seeds, and within a matter of minutes, it's bloomed and blossomed and died and fallen back apart. Mm-hmm. So he has the ability to put things a phase out of standard time.
Yeah, drastically alter time.
Yeah, exactly. But for like a contained thing, whatever is around that device. And so clearly, the Clock Gang has stolen one of these things and is using it for his own schemes.
Which I shouldn't question anything in this episode, but I don't understand. I guess it makes sense. Never mind. I was going to say because I forget in my head he's slowing the world down around him, but he's actually speeding himself up. I guess that part kind of...
It doesn't really make sense.
Well, I mean, it kind of... I mean, obviously, no, but I was thinking, because you see everyone else freeze around him. You think that everyone else... He stopped everyone else, because usually when you see time stop, everything freezes and you can just move. But instead, like, the tube would just be above him. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like we said before, it's like Clockstoppers. Where you're moving really, really fast. Everything's slow around you.
I know they had like a jingle, and I know that's not it.
Let's just say it is.
I want it to be
Clockstoppers. They're stopping some clocks.
That's a jingle for something else.
Crossfire?
Yes.
Oh my
thank
God.
you. Oh man. Welcome to the 90s Flashback Podcast. This week we're talking about Crossfire.
We may have never been more 90s.
Oh, that reference.
Did you have
Crossfire growing up?
No, but a good friend of mine did.
Oh man, it was the best. I was finding those little marbles,
little balls, like little pellets.
Years after I stopped playing that game. Like I think I got it. I had to have been like elementary school when my parents got me that game, and I remember finding those balls through me packing up for college.
Oh my God!
I don't know how they traversed the house, but they got everywhere.
They just rolled around. You know, they just like fall out of a drawer and just roll across and end up somewhere. Crossfire. Oh Jesus, man! We might as well turn on some Nicktoons here. Maybe watch some Salute Your Shorts and play some Crossfire.
I mean, we already did a That's Told by Gender plug.
That's true.
A few weeks ago.
God. Oh, the 90s.
Oh, the good old days.
The good old days when the economy was booming and everyone was happy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so
sleeping with your assistant was the worst thing you could do as a president.
Well, as an intern,
that's fine.
It's all the same shit. But yeah, so What were we talking about? Okay, yeah. So these devices that change time, and actually, if anything, the idea of like, I don't know why, maybe because we've seen it more often. The idea of like being trapped in a tunnel that like makes you move faster and everything almost makes more sense than the opposite one, where it's like it slows you down to the point where the world's moving way fast around you. But
yeah,
we'll get to that. But yeah, so the Clock King is using this for his own means, and of course, he's using it to try and get back at Hamilton Hill, whom he hates.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman is onto him enough to go and stake out the city hall, and so Clock King tries to like successfully breaks in to try and attack Hamilton Hill,
right,
Mayor Hill. But Batman hears them in there because he uses the device to just move around everybody, and then like sets off a strobe, and a fight ensues. He tries to escape, and one of his devices breaks.
Yeah,
but he has a spare. Right, he has a spare.
Yeah. He has 2 spares technically.
That's true. He does.
He puts one on the Batmobile.
Yeah, so he's able to get in there, fuck up, get out.
For someone, I guess we can bring this up later, but I want to talk about it now.
Mm-hmm.
They go into the professor after this, and he's like, "This is still an experimental thing." For this being like an experimental device, he has dozens of them built.
He has so many. I didn't keep track, but there has to be about a dozen used in this episode.
So
right?
we see the 2. I mean, we'll count the 2 later, but just the ones that Clock King uses. There's 3 in this scene because he breaks one, he uses one to escape, he puts one on the Batmobile.
Yeah, he has another one he uses again later. Clearly,
he has one that he uses.
leaves to trap the Doctor.
Yep.
At least one more, if not 2 more, that Batman and Robin use.
3 more because Batman has 2.
That's right.
Because he can speed up in the Speed Force.
Oh my! I know this. Yeah, because it gets kind of crazy.
So we're at about 8. We'll say.
At least of those. Yeah, and so they somehow figure out they need to go talk to Dr. Wakati. Mm-hmm. So they're on the way out there, and one of the devices, the Clock King, has taped to the bottom of the Batmobile, so it goes off, and it traps them in slow motion, essentially. So the world is going on around them much faster. And this, Batman says one line that actually really pissed me off.
Oh, is it the physics line?
Well, he says that the real challenge there is that mass increases with speed because of equals mc squared.
Right.
That is not how that fucking equation works. Mass is a constant. That's why you have the same mass on Earth as you say you do on the moon. Weight is like based off of gravity, not mass. Mass is always the same. The E is energy, right? Equals mass times the speed of light squared. Energy fluctuates with speed, not mass. God damn it, Batman. Get your fucking physics right.
Yeah. You have all this money. You should be able to hire Einstein.
I know, right? It really, I mean, I get it. They're just setting up the tension in that moment that like all the cars around them, if one of them hits them, it's going to be a huge disaster.
Would that be true though?
I mean, so he's wrong about the fact that mass increases with speed, but momentum, which is mass times velocity.
Yeah.
Thank you, physics, does increase with speed. Mm-hmm. So yes, if that were true, if, for example, if everything around them was constantly increasing in speed, the longer they stayed in that space, the more momentum theoretically something could have if it hit them. Mm-hmm. And then,
but it would just affect them, right? Because in my mind, from the outside, you just see a parked car.
You would see a parked car, yeah. But
and
so
if you hit it, you wouldn't be hit. But Batman and Robin, who are experiencing this time flux, they would be.
Yeah, and so
they would explode.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I suppose if their velocity was, you can't be less than 0. So
right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's no different. It's as long as a moving object collides with a stationary object, and the change from kinetic energy to potential energy is catastrophic, then it's a problem.
Everyone must be loving this podcast
I
right
know.
now.
All right, look. Hey, I have an engineering degree that's literally hanging on the wall upside down behind us.
Yep.
But I do know some of these things. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Burns, my physics teacher in high school. He was amazing.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Rowley. He was my physics teacher.
Yeah.
He taught me that cats used to run the world and that Pluto's a spaceship.
Okay, yeah, that's basically true.
He was the best.
Sounds like a crazy person.
Oh, he was, and he was awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so but anyways, they're trapped there, and they get out. Batman launches his grapple through the floor of the car, and they get out of there, and they get out there to Wakati's house, and he has set up his mansion, which, tangent here, it looks a lot like the house that Dr. Ivo lives in Justice League. So Dr. Ivo is the guy who builds Amazo, the robot that takes on.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
It looks like the same house. Or
I can't remember
similar.
it that well.
I mean,
it wouldn't surprise me if they reused assets like that.
They might. Yeah, those
Disney
are great
Disney does it all the time.
All the fucking time. Yeah, everyone who dances in a Disney cartoon.
I love those compilations.
Those videos. Yeah, it's like Robin Hood and
Jungle Book.
Jungle Book are all the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe it's the same house. I don't know. But they get out there and Wakati's like, oh yeah, like my butler's crazy and he's trying to kill the mayor. Like, but he's gonna try and kill him in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I did love. So it is. I mean, obviously this whole episode is kind of dumb, but I think that's like the smartest plot device. Like, because before you see them stuck in the time warp,
they lose about 48 hours.
Yeah, Clock King goes to him, he's like, I need you to build me more of these because this one broke. And so they do give him, because it's not instant, they do actually give him 48 hours. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting plot device where they just like stop the characters progressing so the rest of the world can prepare for the next scene.
Yeah.
Which I think is hilarious.
It's like the only time that actually happens that way to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they have 2 minutes to get from way out in the countryside where Wakati has built his house deliberately with no phones or anything like that to avoid electromagnetic interference, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Airplanes.
Airplanes. Yeah. So and this is kind of a cool scene. They use the devices to make themselves moves super fast on the bat bikes to get back to the city.
It felt very Tron.
It did feel very Tron. Yeah.
Because they have like the light. They have like the light streaks coming behind them.
Yeah, you can just see them like whoosh, go by and run. It's kind of a fun scene. But yeah, they get back there just in time to see Mayor Hill about ready to
his comedically gigantic Gallagher hammer.
His massive like
so
gavel.
Unnecessary. Like
he can barely lift.
Yeah, I feel like this is a Joker episode.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Clock King has stuck a bomb underneath it. So as soon as the hammer hits, it sets off the bomb, and they get there just in time to see like the hammer hitting the podium, because Batman and Robin and the Clock King are all moving in super speed, which they shouldn't be in the same field, though. Would you be able to see each other? Like, think about it. Like, each device is independent of the other ones, right? So, I mean, but I guess, relatively speaking, is if you're moving fast and someone else moving fast, you'd be able to see them moving at the same speed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say that's true.
Mm-hmm. But then if you use two devices...
oh, God. So...
Batman becomes the Flash.
Yeah, go ahead and explain this to us. It's kind of ridiculous.
I'm going to try.
It's kind of fun.
So the hammer hits, the bomb starts exploding, which doesn't make sense because we just saw in the scene before that the slow-mo time will stop gravity. So this bomb...
Wait, stop gravity?
Well, they said they were dropping the iron ball and it was a week and it only moved 10 millimeters.
Oh, actually, yes. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point because it wouldn't actually... Yeah, you're right. That really doesn't hold up because it says it's slowing down time, but time's not the factor there. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Gravity's force is the factor there. Anyway, okay, go on. Go on.
So the bomb starts exploding. Batman has a third hidden time stopping device, which he uses to slow down the bomb even more, and at the same time uses it to speed himself up because he can run super fast to the Gotham River. And this, I don't know if you had this flashback moment, but it felt very much like the 1966, him holding the giant bomb above his head.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the exact... that's all I could see when watching him just run away with the bomb. So then
it's kind of silly. Yeah.
Yeah, he throws it in the river and it explodes. But then I brought up that question before of if someone hit him, nothing would really happen. Because he talks about if you put kind of one device, have it interact with something in another time field, it would cause this massive explosion. He has a bomb in 3 layers of time field.
Yeah.
So I make contact with water. Wouldn't that I mean, it's obviously we're thinking too much into this. But the bomb goes off, everyone's safe. Batman comes back, breaks the Clock King's device, and then sends him to jail.
Yeah,
that's the end.
That's pretty much the end of it. Yeah, it's just and that's it. I mean, but it's silly.
It's so silly.
It's so silly. And then I think it's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
Damn it.
We're almost there. We can finish this out.
One of these weeks I'll not be dying.
Yeah, so I think it's a cool idea, but like I said at the beginning, this could be an episode that any villain could have done.
I agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I kind of because they they go into the physical kind of aspect of the time stopping power, which isn't Clock King's game. He's the probably the smartest, not smart, but the most tactical villain Batman has to face, and we never see that.
No.
We never see him like
this could be someone
this.
else's scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's time related, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like as someone who is so meticulous with time, this would probably, like in a real scenario, this would probably really piss him off.
Probably would, yeah,
because he has a whole new dimension of time he has to take account for.
Because his whole thing relies on the fact that time is constant.
Yeah,
that he can always rely on time, and all of a sudden now that throws it all off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and I love, too, that at the end of the episode, the Doctor's like, well, I guess I'll just keep this technology away from everyone, despite all the amazing things earlier that I said it could do.
Right.
And, yeah, but, it's the world's not ready for it yet, so back into the shoebox it goes.
Yep. Good old Doctor.
I know. It's silly, but I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too.
Watching it. Like, Harlequinade is actually a great episode that's fun. Mm-hmm. This one's, I wouldn't call it great, but I really
This is
enjoy
one of those, we say it a lot, the bad good episodes.
Yes, yeah, I'd agree with you. It's like the Batman and Robin, of episodes. God damn, is it fun to watch? But it's far from amazing.
So I really wanted to make because I think I joked about this with you last time. In the first episode, Clock King is definitely the Vin Diesel of this world.
Because he can't die?
Because he can't die, and he always has to be one step ahead of everyone. And I remember going into this episode being so excited, like, he's the Vin Diesel of this world. And he wasn't, and I got kind of sad.
Can you imagine if they?
He's also bald.
He's also bald. It's perfect. If they introduced the Clock King into the DCEU and they cast Vin Diesel,
that would make my whole life.
Can you imagine like this super like dry technical dialogue that he would have to deliver, but just as Vin Diesel? And of course, you'd have a nice suit made out of white denim.
Oh my god!
As he's doing it
with ripped sleeves.
Just white denim tuxedo, no sleeves. I don't know if they can put a hat on him. Probably not.
You're talking about my dream movie right now. Can this be a solo Clock King movie? I don't want anyone else in this movie. Maybe Black Adam can make an appearance. We can have more Rock Vin Diesel action.
Time to die. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna write this movie.
Give it time, it'll happen.
Yep.
It'll happen.
Do you have any more notes for this episode?
I don't. That's the grand extent of my notes on this one. Yep. So
Vin Diesel, Clock King.
Vin Diesel. Make it happen. Yeah. Well, while we're writing that, we need to find a way to keep ourselves entertained.
Nailed it.
Segue. Cameron, what have you been doing to keep yourself entertained since I saw you last?
It's been a while since we've seen each other.
I know, yeah.
So I was trying to remember what all I watched. I watched Baywatch.
How was it?
Not great.
Okay.
It had some fun moments, but there were so many. So this movie is doing horribly in the box office.
Yeah, it's getting trounced.
Which is really sad. I mean, it's not just compared to everything else. I mean, obviously, yes, Guardians is still the number one movie. Pirates is, I think, ahead of it.
Well, Pirates beat. Yeah, it was Guardians. I forget what happened in between, and then Pirates was number one, and then one presumes Wonder Woman will be.
But I don't know if you saw the numbers on this. This was the lowest grossing box office weekend since 1999.
I did see that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Memorial Day. It was the lowest Memorial Day. Normally a really big weekend. And like Pirates did fine. Mm-hmm. But it was a low weekend. Yeah.
And there's a lot of concern that this summer might be the lowest box office. There's so many great movies coming out, crossing fingers.
Yeah.
That with kind of all of the great streaming things that are coming, because it had to compete with Orange is the New Black just came out.
Yeah.
House of Cards, it just came out, was about to come out.
Well, I mean, it's not super surprising, right? So I mean, just the way everything has evolved, the best entertainment now, you're generally going to find streaming somewhere. Like in general, the quality of television is better than the quality of film, or at least the quality of like big name television. The fact that like Amazon and Netflix and like AMC and FX are putting on the best stuff. Those can all be found somewhere, oftentimes for free,
right?
Or for like a subscription service. And with movies,
which would be the same as going to a movie.
Yeah,
Netflix is $15 a month.
Oh, if that.
That's as much as one movie ticket.
Yeah, I mean, it was 16 each for each of us to go see Wonder Woman tonight.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. And so you compare that to like going to see a movie in the theaters, and it's this sort of like the movies now that get put into theaters have to be big to make money, but they're also so generic because they have to make a lot of money, and so people
they have to reach the widest audience.
Yeah, they're not going. I mean, that's why I'm glad one was doing well, because it is a deviation. If only for the fact that it's a female protagonist, a female director. It's a deviation from the norm. But yeah, I mean, it was not a good box office weekend.
Yeah. But yeah, watch Baywatch. Not great. I watched Southpaw on my flight.
Oh, that's
back
right. Yeah,
from,
you mentioned that.
I was in New York all this week, and that is not an airplane movie. I was bawling, like full on gorilla tears in that last fight. It never feel like the stakes never feel. It's like Rocky. It never feels like super intense.
Sure,
but I don't know what came over me. It was just like I just want him to win. No. You have to do it, Jake. You just keep punching him, Gyllenhaal.
Just keep going, Jake.
Just keep doing it. Do it for your dead wife. But it was great.
Yeah,
I recommend it.
Okay,
I was a little. I mean, boxing movies, just fighting movies in general, are very hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're a huge fan of Never Back Down.
Such a big fan of Never Back Down. Sequel, not as good. Amazed that they actually made a sequel. But like, yeah, that franchise is not great. But like, Warrior was awesome.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Warrior.
And then this is fantastic.
Yeah,
I think Warrior is probably the best so far, mainly because it's Tom Hardy.
I mean, of all-time boxing movies?
No.
Okay.
Of just like recent fighting movies.
So I was gonna say, like, there's Rocky.
Yeah.
There's Raging Bull.
I love Raging Bull.
I actually haven't seen it.
Oh, it's pretty exciting.
I know. I need to watch it at some point.
There's also I am weirdly into boxing culture. I shouldn't. I mean,
you box.
I workout box.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, it's.
But there's an anime. We don't have to put this in the plugs. There's an anime that really got me into it called Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try and find that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Which is just like, it's one of those. I don't know if you've ever had this show where when it ends, all you want to do is go for like a 5-mile run because you're so motivated to do anything.
Every time I watch John Wick or The Raid.
Yeah, that's what I get after every episode of that show.
Yeah,
and I hope they do another season because right now it's only 4 seasons over the past like 12 years.
Oh wow,
It's a very slow moving show. But
clearly,
the manga has been good. They passed their thousandth issue, I think, last year.
Damn.
So they have a lot of material.
Yeah.
There's other anime that's being churned out right now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's boxing and TV history.
There you go. So we got a positive recommendation for Southpaw.
Yeah.
And a not recommendation for Baywatch.
A meh. Right? If you have nothing else to do on a weekend, it's still fun. It's still Zac Efron without a shirt on. It's still The Rock being The Rock.
Yeah, maybe.
Hannibal Buress is in it, which I forgot.
I love Hannibal Buress.
Yeah.
What?
He's just being himself, as always.
Okay. I wanted it to be good.
Oh, I wanted it to be good so badly.
And then everything I've heard about it is that it's not. So
yeah.
I was a little disappointed.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, what are you watching?
Well, I hit the other half of the shitty Memorial Day box office.
Did you do
I was on
Pirates?
Pirates 5, yeah. Because again, like the podcast I listen to, like they all talk about these movies.
Right, yeah.
So like, I got to go watch these. And I was intrigued by it. And it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the first one. I think we've basically had just constant diminishing returns since then. This one, there are parts of it that are kind of fun. There are parts of it that are really stupid and don't make any sense, as you'd expect. Overall, it's kind of meh.
Did you see the fourth one?
I did. I didn't see it in theaters, but I did watch it like at home.
What's it called? On Changing
Tide?
On
Stranger Tides.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the one.
Tides? Yeah. Again, these are okay.
Yeah.
They make the second and third ones look good, which says something.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think if you're a fan of it, and again, you don't have much to do, I guess it's worth watching. Is like an entertaining enough distraction, but it's far from good. But one of the things I did watch recently was the documentary Batman and Bill on Hulu.
I see ads for that everywhere.
Yeah. So I sat down and I watched it. It's really good. So because I saw the news that Bill Finger was finally getting his due credit for his co-creation of Batman with Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the story behind it. And that basically what it came down to was that this one guy who's kind of the center of the documentary was writing a book about Bill Finger and was really championing getting that kind of credit there. And there's this whole really interesting story that I won't go into because it's worth seeing in the documentary itself, kind of about the people who actually end up making that happen. It's really, really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's short. It's just 90 minutes. It's up on Hulu.
It's Batman themed, so it's
Batman themed.
It's applicable to this podcast.
We actually have a Batman-related Bat plug this
amazing.
week, which is fucking
We
amazing.
haven't had that since like week 2.
Finally, I know. Yeah, it's good. It's worth checking out. There was things I didn't know about that whole journey, and like a lot of things interesting about Bill Finger. If you watch it, though, it'll make you really fucking hate Bob Kane.
Oh, always.
Yeah, like it really makes you hate Bob Kane.
Yeah.
But obviously, as we know, there is some form of happy ending at the end because he is now getting due credit and everything.
That's awesome.
But it's worth watching. It's absolutely worth watching.
I love those like making of documentaries.
Yeah. There's another one that I've been wanting to watch. I'll watch it soon. It's Becoming Bond, which is all about George Lazenby, how he became James Bond after Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I really want to watch that too because I've heard it's pretty good.
That's awesome.
I love that story. But yeah, we're checking out.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that.
Yeah, Pirates 5, you can skip it. Batman
Yeah.
and Bill, I assume you're Batman fans if you guys are listening to this. It's worth watching. So
Nice.
yeah.
What do we got going on next week?
What do we? Oh, I can look. Oh, we have a slightly weird. I have to go off a different schedule now because we're off. Did I talk about this at the beginning of the episode? Did I forget to mention this?
Yeah, you did. You
Okay,
did
yeah.
it.
We have
We have a weird schedule. We're going Amazon schedule.
Yeah, so it's like Catwoman and Bane. Ooh, Bane.
Bane. Oh
yes.
man, finally.
All right. So yes, that's coming up next week for us, and we should hopefully have our crossover podcast recording tomorrow.
Yeah.
Up pretty soon. We want to get that out soon.
If our asshole artist decides to finally make artwork.
I know. I do have to say it took a long ass time to get there, but your Guardians of the Galaxy art is absolutely
Thank
beautiful.
you. It only 3 weeks late.
Only 3 weeks. It's fine. We'll make sure the Wonder Woman one gets out soon.
No, I have a rough idea. I hope this week will be a little easier for me.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. But I mean, hey, you know,
Find out next week.
I know. We'll find out soon.
On Timm Talk.
But again, that Guardians art, man.
Thank you.
It's really solid. It's well done. So, and if you want to check out Cameron's art,
Oh yeah.
segue.
Nailed it. You can find me at Cameron.Dexter on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, Chris?
I'm at Lordofer on Instagram and Twitter. I never post on Twitter. Just check out my Instagram.
Yeah.
I barely post on it either. And then, of course, the podcast itself is at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So check us out. Offer up recommendations if you think there's things out there you think we should be plugging.
Yeah.
Checking out.
Show me good things. I don't want to keep watching trash.
Yeah, I know. Cameron needs help, guys. I mean, it's. I'm starting to absorb it too. I mean, I went and saw Pirates 5.
Yeah.
So he's rubbing off me in the wrong kind of way. So by all means, send us some recommendations. And as always, thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
The Nerdist School Network. For class and show information, visit nerdistschool.com.